My name is James Swann. They call me Jim Swann around here. I came to Northeast Texas Community College when I was 43 years old, and that was 1988. I taught as an adjunct faculty member. I taught a Spanish class or two here, and the Spanish class in Tyler Junior College. I just got back from Mexico. I spent about almost a decade in Mexico, in Mazatlan, Mexico. I had projects in Mazatlan. We sold basically real estate. It was timeshare, and that's gotten a bad press somewhat. But I sold timeshare in Mazatlan. We had a project in Acapulco and a project in Puerto Vallarta. But in '88, I came back out of Mexico. My wife was kind of sick, so we came home and bought a farm and started working on that, developing that. And I put out feelers to all the colleges around. I sent the same letter, a wonderful letter. It was artistically crafted, I assure you, to them. And I got a call from Northeast Texas Community College. And they needed an adjunct faculty member paying nothing minus a few dollars. And but I did that here in Tyler Junior College. It was fun. And in '89, they had a full-time position doing directing they had a SLEAG program, which is a weird name, but it was the immigration program. It went by a lot of different names, but we had ESL classes in a bunch of counties around here, way beyond the general service area. So we had classes going on everywhere, all the way up to Clarksville, Pittsburgh, Jefferson, and around. So I directed those programs for a couple of years, and while I was building a Spanish program as well. And by '93, I think it was, we could justify a full-time professor in Spanish, and I applied, and nobody else applied, and I got it. Imagine that. So in '93, I became a full-time Spanish instructor. I still ran a few programs, but that was my primary thing, to build a program, and spent until just 2 years ago. I actually retired when I was 78 and a half years old. So it's pretty old. I'll be 81 next January. So I worked all my life, but I came back to teaching in '88, basically, after spending time in Mexico. But I'd also traveled in Chile and all over Costa Rica several times, and I'd studied in Mexico as well at the University Autónoma Potosina in San Luis Potosí. Studied there summer during my master's program. So I have a master's in Spanish and Portuguese, and I had taught prior to that. I taught actually 4 years. I taught 2 years at junior high school and 2 years at Texas Tech while I was pursuing the master's. And I determined then that I wasn't any good at it. Just wasn't any good at it at all. So I decided that I really needed to collect a lot of real life experiences in the language. So I lived in the language in a number of ways. I lived with Chicanos in the western states, and did projects out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, over 10 western states, and we did bilingual board and staff training and all that those kind of things. So I done that. I also had studied in Mexico, as I mentioned, and then I did the experience of working in Mexico, dealing with developers and lawyers and all kinds of things, and so real life experiences in the language, and that's what I wanted to accomplish. So when I came here in '88, I was able to fall back on stories, real life experiences that demonstrated things that I was teaching, and that's what I wanted to do. And from then on, I gained in confidence in teaching, and it became a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So that's how I arrived here today.
Where did it come from?
No, yo soy gringo, soy gabacho.
Yes.
Yo comencé a estudiar español a los 14 años, yo creo, en la high school. Tuve buena experiencia en la high school y después al principio. So I studied in high school, and I'm basically a gringo. I'm a common, ordinary Texas boy that always enjoyed things that were exotic. But I was born and raised on a Sandy Hill farm. We were poor folks, enjoyed being poor, and I truly mean that. We were poor in a way that was wonderful, had a wonderful childhood. But in high school, I had a wonderful high school. I went to Winnsboro High School, had a fabulous time, got a really good education for a country boy. And, so that's, I was not a native speaker. I became close to a native speaker when I was really immersed in the language. Right now today, I've been away from the language and I don't practice much.
To you?
A lot of times, a lot of things. I mentioned earlier that I ran some programs earlier, and there are a couple of things that, we needed a new English teacher, for example. And I had an adjunct faculty member who was wonderful, and she was teaching at Mount Vernon. Her name was Anna Ingram. And I asked Anna, and I said, we have got to replace an English teacher. She's going on sabbatical for 1 year. No promises after that. Do you want to do it? And she said, I might. Let me get back to you. She talked to her superintendent. They didn't want to let her go. She finally agreed to what they demanded, and she came. So she came with us. She's now the VP here at this college. Magnificent administrator, wonderful teacher, great leader. So that's one of the things that I'm proudest of, that I had a little bit of a hand in bringing her over from public schools, and she has had a tremendous career here. Another big example is Sergio Sanchez. Sergio Sanchez directs our welding program here. And he was, we had a club back in 1990 probably, called Eslabones de las Americas, and they elected me president for some reason, and we did the first Cinco de Mayo here, and we raised $10,000 to put it on, which was a lot of money for us at that time as a fledgling club. But to raise the $10,000, Sergio Sanchez by himself went out and raised half of it. Raised half of it. And I noticed that. I said, wow. And so he started teaching some classes for us. And they were primarily, Hispanics were taking the classes. There were small engine classes and automotive type classes and so forth. And so he was perfect for that. He started teaching them, or coaching them, excuse me. He was a bilingual coach. But as he was bilingual coach, he also took the classes. He took every single class that we have in technology, automotive technology and related to automotive technology that we have here, every single one of them, passed them, got several certificates and an associate's degree here, went on to commerce, got his bachelor's. He's now leading the program here, and he's brilliant at it. He's teaching students not just to weld, but to weld and pass certifications so that they can earn big money, and they're doing it. So those are some of the things that I'm proudest of. I don't know if that answered your question exactly, but those are some of the things that happened to me that I happen to be involved in that were quite wonderful, quite wonderful. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
It does.
As I mentioned earlier, NTC is not the real estate. It's the people. And so I don't think NTCC changes people. I think people change NTCC. And that may be a change from what you're expecting, but it's kind of like in Spanish. The word pueblo in Spanish, you know what pueblo really means? How do you translate pueblo?
Pueblo, town.
I'm sorry?
Town.
Yeah, town. What does a town mean?
It's a group of people.
The people. In Spanish it means the people. What do we mean when we say town here in English?
Buildings.
The buildings.
Oh.
We mean the buildings. So it's a totally different thing, and I truly think that it's the people that have worked here. When they first started this college, almost 40 years ago, I guess it is 40 years ago now, they selected some really brilliant people that were selected because of their ability to teach or to lead teachers. And that's been the notion of this place ever since, that it's about the teaching and the learning, not about writing, grants, although we write for grants. It was not about writing a journal or writing for publications, although people do that and do quite well. But it's about the teaching, the quality of the teaching that can be measured by data. And that has continued to be true. That was true when I was here, and that's what made it so much fun for me. I didn't have to worry about a lot of other stuff that people in education worry about, paperwork and so forth. Wasn't so much of it originally, but it was about the teaching, quality of teaching. So you got to concentrate on the classroom. And y'all are students here, y'all can probably feel that if you've gone to big schools, you might not get nearly as much attention there as you get here. And I hope that all small colleges are like that. This is a small college, small rural college on a ranch in nowhere, Texas. And it has thrived for 40 years. It's thrived. We've had interesting presidents. We had some problems the first three. The last 3 or 4, last 2 have been quite wonderful. Ron Clinton was a stellar choice. He was here from the get-go. I believe he was here from the very, very beginning. And he's a wonderful teacher, believe me. He's also a gifted administrator. He was a gifted administrator and a wonderful man, a tremendous concert pianist. I mean, he is an erudite human being that led this college for several years and did a wonderful job. And now Kevin Rose, not a pianist so much, but he has skills. I had him in a Spanish class when he was in undergraduate school here, believe it or not. He's now has a doctorate and is leading this college. A wonderful individual. He has a memory. He has an eidetic memory. He has a photographic memory. I sat through a lot of committees with him, and he always had the information either in front of him, but he'd often have it in his brain. He would know what the law was and what the code prefix was for the law, and he often saved me a lot of time looking things up. So anyway, we've had great leadership here. We've had wonderful teachers here, and when they weren't wonderful, they chose to leave. I did bring the NTCC Police Academy cap. I'm kind of proud of this. I did teach a few Spanish classes at the Police Academy. We had a wonderful police academy here, and it went away about 15 years ago, I guess. And so I wanted to mention that programs have come and gone. They would come and be really, really useful and helpful for a while, and people would go to work. But then a few were terminated. And the police academy was terminated. I wish it were still here because it was really pretty darn good. But that's one that did go by the wayside. We also had the Carroll Shelby program, which is a stellar program in the United States. It gets a lot of visibility, and that has been wonderful for this college. And a unique ag program here, started by Renee, and we have a new leader for it now, and hopefully it'll continue in that vein. So it's a lot of innovations that other campuses don't get to do, perhaps. But here at this small rural college in the middle of an old ranch in northeast Texas, has been doing it for 40 years. Thank you very much. Yeah, the Spanish courses, the students started wanting to go to somewhere to practice their Spanish, and so we put together a trip to Mexico, basically Mexico City. We'd do 2 or 3 days there, and then we'd go about 3.5 weeks in Oaxaca City, in the state of Oaxaca, and we'd do 1 weekend to the coast over on the Pacific side. And we did that in 2004, 2005, 2006, and they were quite well received. They're just expensive for students. They cost about $3,000 per student, and that's hefty. Get it down a little bit from that, but they were programs that were well received. Of course, the college also does travel study programs to Washington D.C., New York, and Boston, and I guess Savannah was last year, and that's been a very successful program too. I've been on a couple of those trips, and they were wonderful also. So a lot of things happen here. I guess they happen elsewhere too, but in a small college, pretty wonderful, pretty wonderful.
Anniversary NTCC.
Okay, you want me to say happy birthday to NTCC? I will do that. I'm happy to do that. I have birthdays every year. I'm about to give them up, I think. But congratulations on 40 years NTCC, and with the staff that we have here, I visited many of them today. You're going to have another 40 years of great success. I truly believe that. You have people like Mandy Smith that always asks questions, and she always is the last one that wants to ask one more question in a meeting, and she's still here with us, and so quite wonderful people here, they were wonderful to me. I enjoyed my time here. It was terrific. It was a growing period for me. It did probably change me some, but it was so gradual. I can't put a finger on what it changed, but I think the people that have come and gone through here that were so talented have changed NTC, or have continued to improve NTCC. I truly believe that. And with the administration that we have now, I think it's upward and onward. I truly do. I'm a